All right, Kai. So here's an assessment for you. Like I mentioned, we're gonna focus a lot on the feet. Um, if you were barefoot, we might be able to see a little bit more detail, but that's okay. Um, so let's get it started. Move, move, and this is kind of a natural stopping point. Let's see if we go a little bit further. That's good. Okay, so the first thing we see is that this foot points out a little bit. This is your right leg. Makes sense. You're right-footed. A lot of external rotation happens playing soccer, and that's normal. And then our left leg, our plant leg, is more straight. I'm almost stuck in this position all the time and have to be really aware to straighten my right leg. So I can see the stiffness developing through the sport of soccer, the natural patterns of playing soccer. It's really starting to express itself in your body. Totally makes sense. The idea of applying this training will be to add the right shapes, to develop length and strength, and that pressure is the strength, through these exercises to kind of counterbalance all the soccer you'll be doing over the next couple years. These exercises will be good for you because they'll almost be like a rehab or a decompression phase of training for you, where I will imagine that the workload that you're going to have to put on your body is going to be pretty large, a little bit more than you've probably ever done. So this is a great time to really dial this stuff in before you have to dial in all the college soccer. So the feet, we'll start there. Is the arch of the foot maintained? Let's run you back a little bit. Let's see. I mean, as you're turning, you are turning on you're pivoting on your heel a little bit. But I would say, like, you have pretty defined arches, which is good. I mean, even with the sock, you can really see these arches in here, in here. Yeah, this means we're probably loading on the outside of our foot a little bit more. And as long as you're not feeling any too much tightness in your arches, you're probably good. But down the road, if you don't create the right length and shape, you can have foot issues, especially because soccer, we're stuffing our feet into these tight cleats and tight shoes all the time. It doesn't let our toes splay and give us some healthy feet. It's also good to walk around barefoot to counterbalance being in cleats for a couple hours every day that you play. Let's go back to... So I'm going to give you a good score on the arches. Let's do right before the squat. Let's see, right here. So let's look at the knees now. Go up the legs. Because of the external rotation of touching the ball, making, instep passes all the time, knees are out a little bit. Want those a little bit straighter. Let's back you up, pull you out. And this is all making sense for a soccer player. Let's back you up a little bit here. right there. This one though, when you were starting, your feet were a little bit straighter, so that was good. See if we can, before we move. Right there, I think you show a pretty good alignment on both sides. So from here up, good alignment. From here up, good alignment. That's pretty good. Shoulders look good, pretty level. We can see that as well with where our hands, they're not off, maybe slightly. With your shirt, we can't really see the hips, but if this stuff's aligned, the hips are probably pretty good. That's all good. Now is the spine decompressed? This is where I think we have some issues. So we turn. And I kind of noticed this too when we do the hinge. But right here, you turn and we're going a little forward here, right? You have a tendency to let your head drop a little bit forward. And that can also mean that we have some compression in the spine. It would be adding length, getting a little bit more pressure and balance through the back, and then getting alignment through here so that it's one straight stack. We want that stacked. So let me back this up a little bit just to explain that briefly. The stack that I'm talking about is creating columns. So you're already doing it as you turn that direction. We want columns. We want this column to stack on this column, to stack and to stack. That's the bipedal movement, that there's strength through that whole column and that the shapes are right and that there's not a misalignment there. But when the head's dumping forward, you're already showing, expressing kind of front chain strength through the front half of your body. And this is why, I mean, when you got down into the ground movements and started pressurizing the back chain, it was a little foreign. It was a little bit different of a feeling. Okay, let's move forward into the squat. Here we go. So look, a lot of the initial loading pattern is getting that right leg right, which you do, but we can already see that the knees are pointing out a little bit. I will say, because you found straight feet, you have maintained arches, you just had to find the little imbalance to start the squat, which was fine. We want the knees to do that, but you have to make sure that we're getting more length, and you'll see it here, where we're pulling a little bit of length back this way, and our knees dump forward a little bit, where we want all the lengths to pull through the back and drop this down. But it's not bad. And I like the length through here. We can still figure out a little bit of decompression in the neck. And I think there's some decompression to be done here. But this is all also all normal for soccer. So let's see. What do we need to double check off here? The real thing is like the decompression happens in a resting squat where you're much, much deeper. And so you don't have access to that. But that will be something you add to your routine, and it will help. So let's see how the feet look for me on this squat. We want to make sure that the ankles aren't collapsing in. Again, you're always like starting here, you're so planted on your left side. It's like striking a ball. That side plants, and then the right side opens up. We want to find that is more balanced. But when we go down, you maintain the ankle bones high. That's really good. A lot of good shape, it's just lacking length. And that's really what the repetition of the exercises will do, is help you develop length. Yeah, it's not bad at all. We can see there's a little bit of curvature in the back. So I imagine there's some decompression that needs to be done in the spine. But this is all normal. Let's see when we jump into the in here, you can kind of see, yeah, the back looks good. We're loading back. It's just the overall movement is just a bit short and lacking length. Feet look good. Let's see the hinge. Yeah, hinge starts good. The feet are straight. The arches are maintained. We just need to dial in that length in the right spots. The knees look pretty good too. And I'll show you that right here. Okay, so so we have a little bend in the knee because your hamstrings are probably tight. And then there's not a lot of going back through this. It's kind of just folding instead of pulling back and then finding that length. And then when you go down, neck is compressed right here, and we have a lot of this curving of the spine instead of pulling the length out of it. But what's really good is that the foundation of all this is really good. And not running on flat tires is really good. It's going to maintain a lot of your ability to just keep playing soccer through this. We'll look at that a little bit in a second. The flat tire idea, which we'll be looking at the walk, and we want to see how your ankle bone is maintained there. And you have a lot of good movement with the walk. The feet are straight. The landing is good. However, because you're tight in this area and in here, there is lacking a release out this way. So you'll see you release and the release is in right there. That's something to clean up when you start creating the right shapes, this will come. But length is super important. Let's see the left leg's release. Better, but still slightly. This is where you clean this up and you're just going to optimize your athletic ability. Let's see you coming forward. So right here, this is a great example of, how we load into that column. On this, it's your left side. We want this column. Still though, your head is forward, so we know that there's a little bit of compression in the upper neck. Feet are straight, that's really good. We just don't release super well. Knees look good. Yeah. A lot of good things going on. Ankle bones are maintained. That's really important. There's no collapse in your ankle when you pressurize. So that's good. Let's look at the run. So right here, as that right leg is about to land, we want this to release out. Let's see how that does. I mean, this all looks good in that you're loading. You want to be loading on this side. We want this. We want that. We want that kind of action. I think you just need to create the length, like I keep saying, and you'll optimize this movement even more. Let's see how we load on the left. It's good. It's good to see this into that. We want that little wave through there. We just need to make sure that this can release out. It's kind of like that pigeon position that you were in. You need this, as that hip drops, to flick out. This will really optimize the movement. Let's see if we can look at the ankle. Yeah, maintain strong ankles. It's not super easy to see in the sock, but there's very, very little collapse of your ankles. That's super important. But as you felt, your ankles are very stiff. So it would be important to add that mobility to the ankle. Now there, we're starting to see this release out as you move faster. So that's showing good patterns in your run. Maintains the inside ankle bone high on the right leg, but the right leg, because you're externally rotating it so much, it's lacking the internal rotation up here, and that's why, just from kicking the ball, it struggles. Let's see how you do when you come forward. Again, landing, really strong landing. That's good. Back that up. Let's see how this looks. Yep, really good to see this column all there. Everything's good there. You're setting a little bow here. Let's see the other side. Right there we land. The release is good on that left leg. So you kind of just have this imbalance from probably from the ball striking so much. It's pretty normal. But most of this looks really good, looks strong when you're running. Most important for playing soccer. So yeah, I think we just clean up some of the length and get you on a routine of strengthening that, and you're gonna be good to go. You already are moving pretty awesome. Again, this stuff has got to be something you consistently do, and it will pay off. But yeah, that's my general assessment. Feet look good. It's just about getting that length through the back, getting the internal rotation. We need internal rotation on the femurs at the hip joints. Need length, pulling back. We need decompression up here and through all the muscles. Should probably have you flipped around when I'm talking about the decompression. Yeah, like right here. We want to decompress all the spine through the hips, through the hamstrings. Add that mobility to the calf and just clean up basically this, and really just bring awareness to this whole back chain. When you do that, your hinges, for example, will just be a lot cleaner. You'll find a lot deeper movement through here. You won't be so locked. We'll have a nice straight spine. This will be nice and straight, and it won't have that. You'll be completely open. And we want to get our hands, the standard is you want to get your hands resting flat on the ground, both hands completely flat on the ground. So yeah, we'll stop there. That will be your assessment. Looking pretty good with a lot of things, and then simple to clean up the other stuff.